Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels. This is the SmackDown report for the SmackDown on the 25th of March, 2022, week from WrestleMania. I don't know, weak show for that standard, but I guess it's fine for what it is. They recap Brock Lesnar attacking Roman Reigns and the Usos with forklift last week. In the back, Caleb Braxton approaches Brock Lesnar standing next to Reigns' locker room door. Lesnar notes that he paid fines and he bought some cars. He even bought Reigns a new blood red SUV. Lesnar decides to wait around for Reigns. He then walked into Reigns' empty locker room, sat down and put his legs up on a table and breaks it. Rick Boogs introduced Shinsuke Nakamura. They recapped Boogs defeating Jey Uso earlier to earn a shot at the Usos at WrestleMania. Shinsuke with Boogs defeats Jimmy Uso 9:37 with Jey. Decent enough match, but it's honestly non-consequential. Sad that the Usos are a tag team 10 years later, or actually longer than that, and it really doesn't matter anymore. Before the match, Usos jumped in the ring, tried to attack Boogs, and Nakamura faces fight back. Boogs press slams Jey into Jimmy. Match starts after the commercial. Jimmy then has an early advantage with a shoulder tackle and a wrist lock. Nakamura breaks free, but Jimmy responds with another shoulder tackle. Nakamura recovers and hits a running knee on Jimmy and draped over the apron. Jimmy then fights back and rolls Nakamura with a clothesline, follows up with a back suplex, and then a near fall. Jimmy slows the pace down with a chin lock, sending Nakamura to the floor, sends him out with a dive. Nakamura recovers, catches him with a kick to the head. Back from the break, Jimmy is in control. Nakamura fights back, nails a drop kick. Nakamura hits a running knee in the corner, near fall. And then Nakamura sets up the Kinshasa. Jey attacks Boogs at ringside. Jimmy takes advantage of the distraction. Boogs gets back to his feet, grabs his guitar. He throws Jey into the ring post on the outside. Jimmy then is distracted and allows Nakamura to hit the Kinshasa for the win. Fine, I guess, but does anyone really care? They recapped Kevin Owens dressing up like Stone Cold Steve Austin at Raw. Reigns' locker room, Lesnar is eating grapes and drinking champagne. He doesn't like the champagne, so he spits it out and throws the bottle. Michael Cole and McCaffrey notes that Reigns is on his way to the arena. Cole and McCaffrey discuss The Undertaker going into the Hall of Fame immediately following SmackDown on Peacock. They mentioned Vince McMahon is inducting Taker. Fans break into an Undertaker chant, probably the best thing of WrestleMania weekend. They turned their attention to Shad Gaspard receiving the Warrior Award at this year's Hall of Fame. They discussed his passing, which was done classy. In the back, Caleb Braxton interviews Drew McIntyre, admits that he enjoys making Happy Corbin's life difficult. He then wants to wait to beat Corbin on the greatest stage of them all. Does anybody actually want to see that? They recapped Corbin going from broke to becoming Happy Corbin. They highlight his friendship with Madcap Moss. Corbin and Moss watch from the monitor in the back. Corbin then brags about beating down McIntyre and claims that he could make a movie about Corbin. And then they tell stupid jokes, and it's kind of pointless. Kofi Kingston, Rich Holland with Sheamus and Butch. They recapped Holland's defeating Kingston last week after Butch tries to interfere. Cole notes that Holland causes Big E's neck injury. Kingston makes his entrance. The ring announcer said he was accompanied by Xavier Woods, since they treated Woods' return as a surprise moment later. Anyway, Kingston announced that he's not facing Holland tonight, and then they go into an Xavier Woods with Kofi Kingston match and the defeat of Rich Holland with Sheamus and Butch takes 1 minute 47 seconds. Fans are at least happy to see Woods returned. Holland gets an early advantage, doesn't last very long. Roman Reigns is coming back. They talk about the day going to the steakhouse and stopping at Madison Square Garden. Reigns demands that Lesnar leave the locker room by the time he gets to the Barclays center, and he'll make Lesnar bleed again. Roman Reigns, Charlotte Flair segment. They recap Charlotte Flair attacking Rousey last week. They keep the segment short. Rousey makes her entrance and waited in the ring. She grabs the mic and promised to defeat Flair for the SmackDown Women's title. I'd forgotten that match was even taking place at Mania. Anyway, Rousey actually misspoke, called the SmackDown Championship. She calls to correct herself, but stopped and wondered why she needed to add the word woman. Rousey then thinks it should be SmackDown Championship. She then promised to win the SmackDown Championship. This is just goofy. There's a difference between genders, whether they want to write it in or not. Anyway, Rousey didn't want to waste any more time and demand Flair's coming to the ring. Charlotte Flair approaches on the big screen. Flair mocks. Rousey makes fun and notes that she's not at the Barclays Center. Rousey then talks about breaking someone's arm when she's young. She broke so many arms over the years she's lost counts. She called them the Forgotten. Rousey added that if Flair beats her, it's the biggest moment of her career. When Rousey beats Flair, she'll just be another Forgotten. Then we go into Reigns' locker room. Kayla interviews Brock Lesnar. She wonders if Lesnar should leave because of Reigns' warning. Lesnar then isn't worried and tells Braxton that she should find Roman because he's running out of things to smash. He then smashes a lamp in the process. Champion Contenders match. This is just dumb. Angel with Alberto defeats Intercontinental Champion Ricochet. 2 minutes. Why even have them get dressed for that short a match? Before the break, they announced Ricochet versus Humberto, changing it without explanation. Ricochet takes on Humberto in an impromptu match anyway, so they don't even care. They can't even keep things straight within a single segment. Ricochet and Angel had a fine match that lasted, and then there's a distraction finish. Angel has an advantage, side headlock. Ricochet fights back with a springboard clothesline, near fall, climbs back to the top. Humberto causes a distraction. Angel takes advantage and rolls up Ricochet for the win. Angel and Humberto start to walk off. Ricochet gets on the mic. He's not going to let that happen. Championship Contenders match. Humberto with Angel defeats Ricochet, so Ricochet loses twice here. 7 minutes there. Ricochet is in control. He hits a drop kick. Humberto comes out of the ring and yells at the fans. Ricochet then hits another drop kick and sends Humberto to the floor, follows up with a huge dive. Back from the break, Ricochet was in control and hits a series of running uppercuts and hits in the corner. He then follows up with a springboard moonsault. Angel causes a distraction. And Humberto rolls Ricochet up for near fall. Ricochet then fights back and hits a Northern Light suplex and vertical suplex close to a near fall. Ricochet climbs the top rope. Angel pulls Humberto back into the ring. Ricochet then manages to walk the ropes, hits a crossbody onto Angel, and pushes Humberto out of the way. Angel rolls into the ring. Ricochet then hits a tornado DDT off the table on Humberto, rolls him back into the ring. Angel grabs his legs under the ring, and ultimately that leads to a countout. In the back, Megan interviews Sami Zayn to discuss taking on Johnny Knoxville in Anything Goes match at WrestleMania. Zayn's excited about this for the different ways he can cause pain. Anyway, Cole and McCaffrey start to discuss McCaffrey's WrestleMania debut. Austin Theory appears, and then they jump into Mr. McMahon's office, and McCaffrey is furious. Back to the break, he rejoins for commentary. He's angry at Theory. Do people really care about this? Wrestling is so flat. Anyway, Cole changed subjects and discussed Triple H announcing his retirement earlier today. They both thank Triple H for everything he did for them. I guess that's appropriate. Fatal 4-Way, Sasha Banks with Naomi defeats Queen Zelina with Carmella, Rhea Ripley with Liv Morgan, and Shania Baszler with Natalya for the break. Why is there so many of these? 4-way matches don't need to be there. Heels jump out of the ring, leaving Banks and Ripley alone. They go at it. Zelina pulls Banks out of the ring. Massive ball breaks out. Everyone in the match doing their spots. They go to 4 on the floor. Cole suddenly notes the match is no disqualification, which is not brought out in the beginning of the contest. Anyway, back from the break, Carmella, Morgan, Natalia, and Naomi are all sent to the back during the break getting involved. Zelina then is briefly in control, misses double knees in the corner. Banks locks on the bank statement on Zelina, but Baszler stops her from tapping. Baszler then gets the break. Zelina goes to break Zelina's wrists, but Banks locks them both in the bank statement instead. Ripley breaks the submission, running drop kick. Ripley then hits the riptide on Baszler, but slips out. Banks then hits a backstabber on Baszler, and then Baszler and Zelina ends up on the floor brawling for a cannonball on the apron. Wiping things out, Zelina takes advantage and the run off the apron into Ripley. Zelina then tries to go back into the ring, but Banks recovers. Locked on the bank statement for the wins. Banks and Naomi celebrate after the match. In the back, the SUV pulls in the parking lot. Paul Heyman stepped up and opened the door. For Reigns, Heyman then worries, but Reigns tells him not to worry about anything. Cole and McCaffrey run down the lineup for WrestleManias both nights. Then we go to the closing segment of the show, which is, again, Reigns and Lesnar. Reigns and Lesnar are decent in the segment. Reigns slowly makes his way to the ring. He demands Brooklyn acknowledge him, and then asks if Lesnar's still in his locker room. Heyman's not sure about this, but he knows Lesnar's in the arena. He admits being afraid. Reigns tells him not to worry. He demands Lesnar leave his locker room. They cut to a shot of Reigns' locker room, big screen, but it's empty. Fans break into a Suplex City chant. They showed Lesnar next to Reigns' SUV with a pickaxe. Lesnar destroys the car, but Reigns then claims he didn't care because he had 3 more. So why even have it if you don't care about it? Lesnar starts walking toward the ring. Reigns becomes afraid and wonders where he's going. Lesnar's music hit makes his way to the ring through the crowd. Fans go nuts. Lesnar stands on the announce table. Security runs out, surrounding Reigns, taunting Lesnar in the ring. Lesnar jumps off the announce table and hits one of the guards with a flying knee. Lesnar beats down the security guards with a chair, chasing Reigns and the Usos. The Bloodline get away, but Lesnar continues to destroy security and runs the announcers off in the back. Reigns promised to defeat Lesnar at WrestleMania. Back at ringside, Lesnar poses on the table to end SmackDown. Next week, WrestleMania SmackDown features the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which absolutely no one cares about, plus the Intercontinental Champion Ricochet defends against Angel and Humberto in a triple threat match. At least that could be interesting if they give it enough time. Anyhow, we'll be back with more right after this.